Imagine a race car so extreme that it was designed to challenge the biggest names in motorsport, yet never received the opportunity to show the world what it could truly do. That car was the Koenigsegg CCGT. Now imagine that legendary concept reimagined with modern technology, cutting-edge aerodynamics, lightweight materials, and the engineering philosophy of today's Koenigsegg. The result is what we can imagine as the Koenigsegg CCGT1, a futuristic evolution of one of the most fascinating racing projects ever created by the Swedish manufacturer. The original CCGT was developed from Koenigsegg's road-going supercar technology, but almost everything was transformed for the demands of GT1 racing. At its heart was a naturally aspirated 5.0-liter V8 designed to deliver enormous performance while keeping the car exceptionally light. Instead of relying purely on forced induction, Koenigsegg focused on instant throttle response, high-revving character, and the kind of mechanical connection that makes a racing engine feel alive. Combined with an aggressive aerodynamic package, the CCGT had the ingredients needed to become a serious competitor. Now picture that philosophy brought into the modern era. A modern CCGT1 would look less like a conventional supercar and more like a machine built specifically to attack a racetrack. The front end would sit extremely low, with a massive splitter and large air channels directing airflow through the body. Every surface would have a purpose. Instead of simply making the car look aggressive, the bodywork would be engineered to manage airflow, increase downforce, and keep the powertrain and brakes operating at their optimal temperatures. The rear would be even more dramatic. A huge diffuser, carefully shaped bodywork, and an aggressive rear wing would work together to generate enormous aerodynamic grip. At high speed, the goal would not simply be to make the car faster in a straight line, but to give the driver the confidence to carry incredible speed through corners. That is where a true GT1-inspired machine separates itself from an ordinary hypercar. It is not just about horsepower. It is about turning horsepower into lap time. And then there is weight. Koenigsegg has always been obsessed with lightweight engineering, and that philosophy would be absolutely essential for a CCGT1. A carbon fiber monocoque, lightweight body panels, and carefully engineered suspension components could help create a machine where every kilogram matters. Because when a car is extremely light, everything changes. Acceleration improves, braking becomes sharper, direction changes become faster, and the entire vehicle feels more responsive. The powertrain would be another fascinating part of the equation. The original CCGT was built around a naturally aspirated V8, giving it a distinctive mechanical character. A modern interpretation could take that philosophy even further by combining a high-performance combustion engine with advanced electric assistance. The electric motors could provide instant torque while the combustion engine delivers the dramatic sound and high-revving character that enthusiasts expect from a Koenigsegg. Instead of replacing the engine's personality, electrification could become another weapon. Inside, the CCGT1 would likely feel more like a race car than a luxury grand tourer. The driver would sit inside a focused cockpit surrounded by carbon fiber, digital displays, performance controls, and lightweight racing equipment. Everything would be designed around one objective, giving the driver maximum control. There would be no unnecessary distractions. Every switch, screen, and control would exit for a reason. But perhaps the most fascinating thing about the CCGT1 is not the technology. It is the story behind the name. The original CCGT was created with ambitions of competing at the highest level of GT racing, including the legendary 24 Hours of Le Mans. Unfortunately, changes in racing regulations prevented the project from achieving the international racing career Koenigsegg had hoped for. The car had the potential, but the opportunity never truly arrived. That is why the idea of a modern CCGT1 is so exciting. It represents a what-if scenario for Koenigsegg fans. What if the original CCGT had been given the chance to compete? What if that same philosophy were rebuilt today using everything Koenigsegg has learned from decades of hypercar development? The answer could be something incredibly fast, incredibly light, and almost completely focused on performance. Ultimately, the Koenigsegg CCGT1 represents more than just speed. It represents ambition. It represents the willingness of a relatively small Swedish manufacturer to challenge the established giants of the automotive world. And that is what makes the CCGT story so special. It may never have become the racing legend it was intended to be, but its engineering philosophy continues to capture the imagination. If a CCGT1 were ever brought back with modern technology, it would not simply be another hypercar. It could become a tribute to Koenigsegg's racing ambitions, a machine built around lightweight engineering, extreme aerodynamics, and uncompromising performance. And perhaps that is the real legacy of the CCGT. Sometimes, a legend does not need to win a race to become unforgettable. Sometimes, all it needs is the potential to make the entire automotive world wonder just how fast it could have been.